and then we want to do this. And there we go, 297% speed. Oh man. Hey guys, it's Babypowder, and we're back, and this time we have the speed druid video for you guys. You guys have been asking for this ever since we were talking about it on stream, with how Ghost / Yum Yum figured out a way to get us back over that 250% hump. And actually we've gotten well above the 250% hump, at least, you know, a steady 270. Can even go higher as well, and really it's great. I mean, the only difference is now, instead of leveling all the way up to 71 or leveling up to 80, you're going to be only leveling to 61. Now if you want to do some, you know, later content stuff, you may want to still have an 80 speed druid. You may still want to have a 71 speed druid. But for all your old content stuff that we usually farm, you're definitely going to want one of these level 61s. That being said, first thing you ever want to do is make sure that you actually roll a Zandalari troll, unless you just really want a different race. I mean, you can do it, but you're going to lose about 5% speed. I have completely worked on this as far as coming up with a guide that I will leave down in the links below, where you can actually see step by step what you need to do. You may still want to watch the video though, to kind of see how I go over everything and how you may want to use it. Also, I will have a link for my talents. That's another big part, so you can keep that speed up. But anyway, guys, with all that being said, just like to mention, if you do like this video, smash the big thumbs up. Lets me know that you like it. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my other videos. But let's go ahead and get to our speed druid and see just how fast we are now with the level 61 speed druid. All right, guys, so here I've blown up the monkey speed, and you may want to go ahead and get this add-on just so you can check your speed. Now, unbuffed anything, you see we're already at 240%, which is way faster than what I am, you know, even buffed with my level 71, which is still faster than a level 80 speed druid. And with that, I mean, you do see I have the well-fed from bonefish, but it doesn't actually take effect unless I actually, you know, kill a target or anything. But yeah, it's it's really insane at 240 and getting this to actually jump up to the speeds that we can get it to jump up to. One thing is, you can either go with weapon enchants like Windwalk or Burning Writ, which I'll get into, because there's different ways to get either one of those enchants. Well, Burning Writ you can just get, but Windwalk is something that you will have to get early on if you want to use Windwalk, but it is about 5% faster than Burning Writ. Now with that, first off, we need to go ahead and get us a Windwalk proc, which actually is pretty common with that enchant. I'm not as sure as how often the Burning Writ actually hits. Again, it is a chance, but it seems like it's pretty often with Windwalk. And another thing we want to do is go ahead and add our vial here. Okay, so that already jumps us up to 252%, 0.1% actually, and that is without us even killing anything. We can just run at over 250% without even, you know, hitting a mob, which is great. And then if we actually do hit a mob, we jump up to 265.7%. Actually, did we just get Windwalk? No, actually, I don't think, no, we didn't get Windwalk. So it's just 265% speed without even getting a Windwalk proc or anything, which is definitely way, way faster. But if we can manage to get ourselves a Windwalk proc, I would like to really show you guys what this thing is capable of. Of course, you're not going to be, when you're farming, trying to like wait and hit, you know, boosts and things like that until you get a Windwalk proc, but really want to see what we can get these speeds up to. All right, guys, so what we want to do right now is we want to try to get the Windwalk proc. So let's see if we can get lucky and get that. See, we're already at 271% speed, which is probably fast enough for a lot of us already. and that's pretty consistent. Now that is including, you know, Tiger's Fury. You will see it drop off for about 8 seconds. There we go, we got it. And then we want to do this, and there we go, 297% speed. Oh man, did you guys see that? Now that was amazing. 297% speed. Now granted, that is with some things causing us to get that high, but it does last for a pretty long time. One is wind walk, another is there's a trinket cooldown, which is actually a pretty long cooldown for the trinket. So it still gives you a good amount. It's almost like just getting another, you know, stampede and roar almost for a little bit. But yeah, it's also, you know, some other talents that are going in there with your regrowth. But yes, 297% speed without even hitting, you know, your stampede and roar or your dash. And of course, you still have those cooldowns. Now, granted, that is only if you get the wind walk. I'm trying to see if wait for the cooldown to go down, and then we can actually see what it would be without the trinket. Or without the wind walk proc there, because you can't really count on that. But still, at 252% speed, I feel like that's really good without even having to kill anything. And then as soon as you kill something, I mean, you have 270% majority of the time. And even for those 8 seconds you do not have Tiger's Fury up, you pretty much have 265% speed, which is way faster than, I mean, even buff my current druid. Even with doing the regrowth thing and everything with the level 71, the highest I can get up to is like 240. So we're already faster than that, even when we're not hitting mobs with this one right here. But as you can see, guys, I mean, even without the trinket proc and everything, we're about to run out of our food buff here. I mean, we're at 265% without the Tiger's Fury. We're at 271 with the Tiger's Fury. And then if we do our little regrowth trick, we actually get up to 279%, and that's without the trinket. And then the trinket would jump us up to, you know, in the 280 range. So still really good. And of course, if you get the wind walk procs, which you really can't count on, still pretty amazing here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the gear and how you get it, and how you get this level 61 speed druid up to these speeds. And so first up, one thing you may have noticed, I'm a Zandalari troll. That's you know, before you start leveling your druid, you may want to level a Zandalari troll, just because they do get this extra 5% increased movement speed with the Embrace of Gonk. That's not the embrace you actually start out with, so you will want to change that to this one. But that is, you know, something you may want to consider. And, you know, of course, you can miss out on the 5% and just go for any, you know, druid you like if you just rather have a different class. I know with some of our farms, like a horde does have an advantage as well. First one that comes to mind is Shadowfang Keep, just because the door opening is faster. So there's things like that. There's also, you know, going to some farms with going to the Undercity makes it more convenient as well. So yeah, but if you do consider, like, you know, some alliance classes that are decent, if you want some alliance druids, Night Elf I think is extra 2% speed, and then with Worgen you actually get another boost, so you could possibly rotate from your trinket here to your, you know, Dark Flight to get a couple extra boosts of speed there. That might be something you prefer as well. But anyway, starting off, first thing you want to do is you only want to level to 58 and stop. So you see we are 61, but you want to go to 58 first, and you want to farm up a couple pieces for your speed gear. And there is, you know, good reason behind that. One, first off, is your boots. So the boots of the Shifting Sands, you want them under the item level of 320, so that you can put that minor speed enchant onto the boots. It has to be under item level 320, and at level 58 you get up to 316. Beyond 58 it's above the 320. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to go to the Botanica in order to get these boots, and I will show you guys real quick where this boss is located and where the dungeon is. All right guys, so for your boot or boots that you want to get is you want to go to the Botanica, which is going to be right here in Nether Storm, where you have all the dungeons here and even the raid, but it's going to be the one all the way over here to the left. Right here is kind of the blue colored one here, and you just want to go down here, go inside here, and the boss that we're aiming for these boots is actually going to be, I think it's like the fourth boss. All right, Lodge here, yes, fourth one. But you can actually skip majority of the bosses here. You may want to actually kill the first one if you decide to go through first with your speed druid and then bring your other ones, just because of, again, the chance that they could aggro that boss, just because it does like to pat, which I'll show you when we get there. Yeah, just make your way through here to the Botanica, and right here, see, the boss actually comes down here, and if you're passing through on your 58 at the time, when the boss is actually coming down, it could be bad for you. You're level 58. So really though, you will want to clear all this out, just skipping stuff come after me, because over 61, there's this next boss, but you can skip that one, and then the next boss you can skip as well, which is actually going to be, because you can just come down here. Now you will want to make sure that you actually do hit this patrol here. Don't really need to worry with this one, but you can skip that one. Just gonna come over here. There's also going to be some stealth mobs here. You're going to want to hit 2 of them there, again, just for the safety of your 51, and of course you may just want to have your or your 58, you may just want to have your 58 following you, but I didn't. I actually did go ahead and clear through like this, just to go ahead and get it done, so I didn't have to keep stopping and waiting. It just annoys me doing that. And the boss that you want to kill is this one right here, and this is the one that actually drops the boots for you. Drop it this time, but that is the boss for the boots. And once that's done, actually it's faster just to go ahead and clear it out, which you may want to go ahead and clear out at least one side of these flowers. You don't necessarily need to clear out both of them, and then just make sure that your 58 takes the same side, and then just kill the last boss. And right here is the dwarf, outside of interest if you don't get the belt on, or the boots on your first attack. But yeah, very easy there to get those, and again, that's another one you could possibly get a gem socket on, if you're lucky. I think, I don't know if there are some that possibly don't drop. I don't think your BFA pieces, pretty sure your BFA pieces can't get an extra socket, but I'm pretty sure a majority of your other pieces can. And rings, I'm pretty sure rings can as well, if you're lucky with those. But again, those are for solo when you're going after those, so it's just very lucky to even get them. So just, you know, I'd be happy just getting them, because that was probably the biggest pain out of all of this. And then you know, if you can get extra gem sockets, I didn't actually get any extra gem sockets on any piece that I have here, and still at the speeds that I am. So you could potentially be you know, even faster than I am with getting those extra gem socket parts, if you're very, very lucky. Again, I would not worry too much with the speed, because you're already going to be speed capped. All right, guys, so next up, what we want to do is we want to go and we want to farm the slave pins for Liar's Cord for the belt here. All right, guys, so in order to get to slave pins, you want to come out here in Sanger Marsh, and you want to go down to this big pipe right here. You want to actually go into the water. You want to switch back to your travel form, which turns you into this little like shark looking thing if you are Zandalari, in your swim form here. And you want to swim down through the pipe here, which again, a lot of people probably already know this, but just in case, letting everybody know how to get here. And then as soon as you swim up the opening here, you want to go to your left here, and again, you're going to want to come here twice now. You want to come here at level 58, go over right now, and you want to, for level 58, you want to actually go through and make sure, like I said, you are killing everything here. Make sure you're killing everything here if you are actually going through and carrying with a potato, because you're 60 or you're 58 and you're 61 when you come back here. You have to come back here at 58. is going to actually aggro everything. So you'll want to actually clear out enough to where they can make it through if you go ahead and kill everything up to the boss. And then with that, you'll go to, I'll point this out now, at 61 you're only going to need to kill this first boss here. And with the first boss here is where you actually get your legs at 61. But you didn't drop them that time, but that's where you get your legs. And then with your belt, which is what we're actually aiming for at level 58, is going to actually come off the second boss here, drop down here. You actually might want to kill that there, so you don't have to wait for when you actually bring your level 58 through. But as soon as you come through here, you're going to want to actually go up here and kill this boss. You may actually want to kill this group too, so your 58 doesn't aggro them. But this boss right here is the one that actually drops the Lyra's Cord. I actually dropped it. So but yeah, that's the one we want. And it can actually drop get an extra gem socket. I've actually had that happen before, but unfortunately I was already level 61. So I did actually use that belt over the level 316 with the actual socket that we're going to add, which is why we're aiming for this lower level, just because it's a little bit more crit. But now, if you actually do want to just get your gloves here, which we'll go over later, but there are some leather gloves that can actually drop off the last boss. You can actually go for the last boss, but I feel like it's just not worth it. And then for easy way out of here, instead of porting out and then having to fly and go back down through the drain on both tunes, is just going through the water right here, right after you kill the boss, and then you can just go up the ramp here. From there, you can just easily, quickly go right back out to the entrance here. Just makes it a lot easier, especially if you just have your druids following. If you're using a speed druid, it's a lot faster than your potato. You may just want to put your speed druid following your slower druid that you're trying to actually gear up. So that way you can just take them both through at the same time. And I would actually rotate my stampeding roar and do it that way, so that way I could get out of here much faster. But yeah, that's the way I would do it until you get your belt. And the reason why we want to do this is, you know, you could just wait till you're 61 if you really are not worried about it. It's not a huge difference, but it does make a difference because you can take and use the belt buckle on the belt here and get yourself an extra slot. Now with that, it gives you another 109 crit, but without the or with going with the higher level, you get a little bit more crit on the belt itself. As you see, I did that first with one here at 175 crit versus the 145 crit. So it's still more crit, which gives you more speed, and that's what we're doing here. So we're stacking crit because that is our secondary stat that we're stacking with our BFA pieces, and that is allowing us to get more speed because of the scaling with 61. That's why we're only leveling to 61 versus the level 71, because the scaling is much better, and we actually do hit speed cap and everything else, and that's why we're able to actually get such incredible speeds. That's another thing. You don't really need to worry about procs, even though I do have some with procs of speed on your gear, because really with the enchant on your wrist and with, you know, the food and with the vial, you're going to end up hitting speed cap, and then you're just going to have diminishing returns. So honestly, the best thing you can do is hope for procs of extra gem sockets. Next thing you might want to do is you may want to go to Magister's Terrace and actually go out and farm your sun infused focus staff. With that, you want to get the 316 item level again with this one, so that way you can enchant it with Windwalk. Now if you really want to save yourself some time instead of going back and forth between dungeons, you can go ahead and get the higher item level staff and just go with Burning Writ. It's only a 5% decrease with doing it that way. See, I got one here. but the Windwalk enchant has to be as well enchanted to the item under item level 320. So it is only about 0.2% slower, or actually 0.3% shows here. When I was buffed, it was actually showing like only 0.2%. So it might be like 0.2, 0.25% or something, and there's some extras in there buffing me up 0.3%. But with that, you actually get 5% more speed on the procs. And I do know Windwalk actually procs quite often versus Burning Writ. I'm not sure. It could be quite often as well. I think Ghost Pants has actually been using Burning Writ for a while now, and he says it feels like it's about the same. But yeah, still, I'd rather have the extra 5% versus only being even 0.3% slower. So I feel like going with the lower item level staff is better, but you may want to save yourself some time. Just wait till 61 in order to get your staffs. Now, with the next thing you want to do is, after you've gotten that and gotten the staff, if that was what you truly wanted to do, you may want to go ahead, you're going to want to go ahead and finish leveling up to level 61 and then stop. And keep in mind too, if you are actually queuing with these dungeons at level 58, you're going to want to actually talk to the XP eliminator so you don't get any more experience, so you don't risk actually going to level 59. But if you actually have a friend to take you, or you have a second account with a higher level character to run you through these dungeons, one, you'll want to be on Chromie time, but you'll want them to just be on regular time, and then they can run you through and get these pieces. Of course, you can't trade between each other, but you can, unless you have multiple accounts, so you can have multiple people on Chromie time. But anybody in Chromie time can actually trade the pieces at those levels, but you won't have to worry about gaining any levels if you're doing it that way. But if you actually are using the dungeon finder, then of course you're going to gain experience, and you don't want that. So you'll want to turn off experience gain at level 58 before you go out and farm those items, if that is the way you're doing it, which is probably gonna be a little bit longer, but sometimes it might be what you need to do if you can't get somebody to run you through, if you don't have another account. Now, at 61, you might as well turn off the experience. It costs 10 gold, but the reason why you want to do that is because that's where you want to stop. You don't want to gain any more experience. So in order to eliminate the experience, you want to speak to Slots in the Horde. I'll show you guys real quick where that's at. All right, guys, so you want to come into Orgrimmar and go right here into the Valley of Honor. You want to go to the barracks here, and then all you want to do is drop down here, go up here, going too fast here, and right here it's going to be the little cloak guy or stealth guy here, slots here. And see, I've already turned off mine, so it's asking if I want to start gaining experience again. Of course I don't, but that's where you turn it off. Of course, there's one for the Alliance as well. It's going to be actually in Stormwind Keep. All right, guys, so now that we've eliminated our experience at 61, the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and get our BFA pieces. I feel like that's the most important part, because that's the big thing that everything's focused around with our speed gear, because that's how our crit actually turns our crit into speed for us, right? So with that, you have 3 pieces you need to get. You need to get the pieces with the longstrider trace. And actually, first thing you want to do is, I found the easiest way is go ahead and go into Chromie time, even though actually at your level you are basically at that level for BFA, so it doesn't really matter whether you're Chromie time or not. But you want to go ahead and select the BFA Chromie time. It goes ahead and gives you the quest for the dying world, and directs you to go ahead and go speak to Magni, so that way you can go ahead and get your neck, because you want to get your neck before you start farming these pieces. Because if you start going to these dungeons, and I've done this in the past, without having the neck, they will not drop for you. So that's the first thing you want to do. And then also, if you have somebody running you through those, so most likely you're going to want at 70, really you're going to want at 80, because it's just so much faster. But 70s can do it. But if you go through and you have them do it. They can actually trade, unlike in the other ones, they can actually trade the gear over to you, seeing that you are actually at the level for the BFA areas, and it will actually be the item level it needs to be for you. So first off, you want to get the chest from the mother load, which is actually going to be right outside of the horde area. All right, so here in Zoldazar, the horde area, like I said, here is going to be the one for the mother load where you'll get the chest, and that right there is going to give you a couple traits here. Really, the first one doesn't matter what you go with. I just want this one, the unstable catalyst. Of course, you're not going to have your Heart of Azeroth, which is the next leveled up yet. So really, it's just going to be grayed out. You're not gonna be able to select anything, but I will show you it, guys, or go over what you need to do in order to get that quickly up to level 50. But then the next one here is the longstrider trait, so you want to make sure you're getting those, and the reason why you want to farm these dungeons instead of just going with any old BFA pieces is because the item level, it actually does make a difference. Now with that, the next one up, and actually, oh sorry guys, in the mother load, the boss you actually want to kill, which actually I'm not going to go into because I'm just on my level 61 while they're actually loading in my other character. But the one you want to actually go after, or get the chest off of, is going to be the last boss. It is actually the last boss for each and every one of these. So unfortunately, yes, you do have to completely clear them. But the one good thing is with at least the freehold, you can actually skip 2 bosses, and I do actually have a fast way of doing Toldagar, which is actually the most annoying one. But let's see, we're trying to get Battle of Azeroth, and the mother load, so it's going to be the Mogul Razdunk here. And usually what I do is I would actually just clear ahead so I don't have to worry about my 61 dying, clear ahead with my 80, and then catch up with my 80 once they've actually killed the bosses and things. Now with that, what you want to aim for, like I said, is just for this one, the chest. I actually was pretty lucky because I made 2 of these druids to replace my old 2 druids, and I'm actually making 2 more. But basically what I would do is or what happened was I actually got this one like on my first run with one of my druids, and then it took forever for the other one. That was like vice versa for the shoulders. But that's the one you want to get from the mother load. Now for the actual one for the shoulders and for the helm, you need to actually go to Borealis. So if you're horde, you're actually going to need to go to Siege or go to Borealis here. So you need to talk to this guy and set sail to Terragard Sound, and of course you'll have to open it up to where you can sail over here. All right, and once over at Terragard Sound, you really don't have to do the quest unless you really want to. I skipped it, but basically first one I always do is freehold, so it's right down here. Always leave Toldagar last. That's actually the most aggravating and annoying one. Actually, it's not really. I'll go over which one is the most annoying. It was for me anyway. I used to think at least for the BFA pieces, the Toldagar one is the most annoying. But you want to come on down here to freehold, and with that, you can actually once you're here, you're inside the dungeon. You need to kill the first boss, but after you kill the first boss, you can actually skip the next 2 bosses, and you can go straight to the last boss. So it's pretty quick with that. I'm not going to go in there because I'm on level 61, but basically with that, I don't know if I can kind of display it with map here. Oh, get the map. Oh, there it was right there. Sorry guys. So the map here. So basically you come in and you you kill the first boss here, this guy, captain here, and then what you can do is you can actually just run across here. You can skip the pirate boss. You drop down kind of right in front of them, but you kind of just go right by them, pulling the mobs. And then of course this one's out of the way anyway, so you don't need to worry about him. And then you just go right across the bridge, right to Harlan Sweetie here. So yeah, very easy to skip the first two bosses, or the second two bosses, and just killing the first one there. So that one's pretty simple to do. Now when you actually do go, and just in case you have leveled your neck, this is why I want to mention this right now, before you select your talents for your shoulders here, just in case you did this before you finished getting all your BFA pieces, you want to make sure that for your first one, and I did not do this with my old druids, I may even need to go back and get other shoulders for myself 71s just so I can get a little bit more speed with them, but you want to make sure you select Jungle Fury, because a big part of it's a pretty big boost actually with our Tiger's Fury, giving us 875 critical strike, and again our critical strike ties into our speed. So this is something that you really want to do. Now this is kind of off here because it says Tiger's Fury increases critical strike for 17 seconds, but it actually lasts for 22 seconds. Maybe the Jungle's Fury only lasts for 17. But anyway, still really good. And then of course we got the longstrider trait. Now the next one we want to go to is going to be Told to Gar. Now this one can be kind of a pain to find because I think sometimes it's kind of off on actually where it shows it on the mini map, but it's right here. If you want to spread your, I've actually struggled to find this sometimes, but you know, zoom out a little bit on your map and it's going to be this little island right here. All right guys, so now that we've gotten out to the island, here's your entrance right here. And again, you still have the level 80 run you through. And I found a little trick here to make this a little bit easier and not as painful. Now you can't skip any of the bosses, unfortunately, but this one has always been like the most annoying in the past to me. It almost seems like the drop rate is just horrible on this helm anyway. But even with that, I mean, it's just, you know, making it through this dungeon has been a pain. But with that, what I would do is I would actually leave my 61 outside the dungeon here, and then I would take my 80 in and clear all the way up to the boss before last. And what I would do is I actually would not even worry with killing the mobs. Just kill the bosses, and you know, because I can kill them pretty fast, and then I just have a trail of mobs following after me. And then as soon as I get to that boss before the last boss, I would go into that little room. I would actually use my incarnation here and then go stealth. Of course, if you're a night elf, you can actually use shadow meld, but it makes me lose aggro on all of them. They all go back and reset. And then you may think, well, how am I going to get my 61 there? Well, I would go ahead and kill that second to the last boss on my 80. And as soon as I did, I would zone my 61 in. It actually puts my 61 right there. And then I will go ahead and clear up to the last boss and then bring my 61 up there and kill. It just seemed a lot faster doing it that way without trying to have to worry about killing all the mobs, because there's a ton of them in there throughout the dungeon. So that is definitely a little trick that you can try to get this done much faster. Next thing, before you leave BFA, at least during this current season, you want to go actually to Siege, which is actually going to be back here. Of course, you could have done this before you hit out Told to Gar if you wanted to, but I feel like, you know, getting your BFA pieces is most important, so I did that first. And with that, you want to actually do Siege. Now this is actually the most annoying, and the reason why is because it's personal loot, and sometimes you kill the bosses and you don't even get any loot. At least you actually see loot dropping in all the other ones. With this one, you do not. There's times where you see absolutely nothing drop. But what you want to do in Siege here is you want to actually kill the bosses that drop the rings. And the reason why you want to do that is because this is currently a seasonal dungeon here. And once the season changes though, which you'll check the current season here, and you can do any of these to get the rings. But I found, because I also got one from Aquatic Wake, actually may still be in the bags. Oops, wrong thing here. Let's see. I think it's, yeah, right here. So it was only 236 crit. I think that's the one. May have got rid of it. That's not it. I thought that was it. But anyway, with the Siege of Bralis, what you want to do is you actually want to get the ring Seal of the City Watch here, and you want to get the ring from the third boss, which actually I would go ahead and kill the last boss too if I didn't get my rings, because it just lets you, quickly go out. It's not a long fight. But yeah, you also want to get this one, the Band of the Ancient Treasure, because especially this one, because this one has 321 crit. And then the other one only has 245, but it's still more than the one that comes from the Necrotic Wake. If these dungeons are already, out of the season, or this dungeon is, you just want to go for whichever one that you can do that actually gives you the highest amount of crit. Now, granted, if you look at my rings, they actually do have 2 sockets each, and you'll notice the ones that actually do not have, or that drop do not actually have sockets. So there is, these settings that you can actually put in these things, which I'll go over later when I go over enchants and everything, that you can actually add 2 sockets to these rings, but it has to be from a seasonal dungeon, and that's why you want to do Siege right now while it's still up in order to get these 2 rings. Even if it is very annoying, really important to try to get it before these are gone, because we don't know what dungeons will be in the next season, and the crit may not be as high, especially this one that has plus 321 crit. But anyway, so that's those. Next up, what I would actually do is from there I would unlock Nagistar, and before you leave BFA, it's very easy. Just go back to Zoldazar, and you want to complete the quest from called Send the Fleet, and it's actually right there on the boat as well. And with that, it will actually give you the quest to go back and start Nagistar. Takes you right there, and you complete the quest chain. And once you do, it will actually send you back to talk to Magni, and he will actually give you a quest to go ahead and level the neck on up to level 50 Azerite. And with that, you get all of your Azerite traits unlocked easily without having to try to go out and farm Azerite. Now with that, you could attempt to go ahead and get up to 55 and then actually get this one, the Ripple in Space. But you do have to do some open world PvP, which I don't know how good that's going to be with us only being level 61. Probably going to be very annoying, but if you really wanted it, with doing this, you could get up to additional 5% speed. I really am not going to bother with it. It's only 5% more, but with that, you see we can reach over 297%. We could possibly be over 300% with our trinket proc and wind walk and everything else. But I'm not going to worry about 5% speed with having to do war mode stuff. So that's just another little 5% you could possibly get if you really wanted it. But next up, we are going to head back to Orgrimmar. All right, guys, once back in Orgrimmar, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and go back to Chromie and speak to her and switch your time back to Outland. Because now we want to get our pieces that we want at the level 61 item level. So go speak to Chromie, press the Outland timeline, and what you want to do from there is you want to head on over to Bannister's Terrace first, as most of the pieces are actually going to come from there, and that's actually the quickest one to get to. So in order to get there, what we're going to do is we're going to head on over here to our portal room. We're going to go down here course, it's gonna be slightly different if you're on the alliance, but I'm sure you're aware of where all the portals are for your alliance. But you want to go to this one for the portal of Shadow Wrath, and then honestly, it's really easy because you can just go straight to the island where the Master's Terrace is, which is actually going to be. I say that. Where's it? That's right here. It's the one that's by itself here. So you take this one here, and then from there, it takes you to the island here. Same place where Sunwell is. It's just the dungeon is actually up on the hill right here. And of course, here you cannot fly, but actually we're faster than our ground speed, even with me not having any of the buffs. And what you want to do here is you may have already been here if you already got your item level 316 staff. But you want to go on up here to Master's Terrace on the hill. You want to do the same technique you were doing when you were at level 58, but you want to do Master's Terrace for 2 pieces if you already got the staff, which is the gloves of arcane acuity and the cloak of the betrayed. Now the gloves, they actually come off of the last boss. I think actually I need to select a mage here, yep, off the last boss here, and then the actual cloak actually drops off the second boss here, priestess for the rest. Now really with this one, if you want, I can actually show you guys where these bosses are. I am actually not on current time. Don't worry about killing anything. Buy it. So honestly, I would come in here. I would kill the boss here, but I wouldn't even worry about looting it. I would just go down here, do this. Honestly, I'm going fast enough where I don't even need my buffs. A little bit faster with regrowth there. See, I mean, you can even go in here without food buffs and stuff if you really want. I mean, you're still faster than the level 71 regrowth. But here's your first boss right here. That's going to drop the cloak, and didn't get it this time. But anyway, we still wouldn't be able to use it if we did get the drop there. And then here, you want to actually go past the mobs here. You want to make sure you actually kill the boss first and then kill them. It just allows you to skip a lot of role play. So that's something to keep in mind too when you're doing this one, to just make it easier on you and not using up as much time. But here, look, we actually got the staff to drop. But again, you would want to do that possibly at level 58, unless you want to save yourself some time and skip this one at level 58 and you didn't mind losing the extra 5% speed. But also the gloves there, they are cloth gloves, but they are actually slightly better than the leather ones. But again, if you're not worried about it, if you already get your you already got your staff and you really just want to kill that second boss and get the cloak, you could go ahead and only aim for that. And then you want to use the bubble here, and if you need to, go back up there and rinse and repeat. All right, guys. So actually, I'm out here, flying out to the blood furnace. But the next one you want to go to is actually the slave pens, which actually I'm not going to show because we already showed it back when we were going over the level 58. But it's actually the very first boss. So really, you can quickly do that with just trying to farm those legs off the first boss. Now the last boss actually does drop some legs too if you're really having some really bad luck with those legs. And also there is some leather gloves that the last boss drops that are leather instead of the cloth gloves from Master's Terrace, if you didn't get those yet, or if you want to just farm that dungeon for all those. But I feel like it's easier just to go into the slave pens only to hit that first boss to try to get your legs. And the reason why you want to do that, which, sorry, I did not show this gear, but here's our gloves, the cloth gloves here. They have 155 crit. Do I still have the leather ones here? I think I do. Yeah, they're only 140 crit. So actually I did, before I socket the gems here, I actually checked these, and it was, I think, only like a 1% and 0.2% difference is, I think it was 0.1%. Yeah, because it's only like 15 extra crit. But still, it's 0.1% speed. And honestly, yes, if you're actually, trying to kill mobs at your level, it may have slightly diminishing returns because it's cloth versus leather. But honestly, we just care about the speed because we're killing things that are much lower than we are. So we're really not worried about that at all. Yeah, I would, go for the ones that give us a little bit more speed if I was you. But honestly, also you may be just having, not the best luck trying to get these gloves, and you may want to just go ahead and move on to slave pins and then just go get the leather gloves from the last boss. But anyway, reason why we're going to Blood Furnace is, and these are the legs that you would actually get. I mean, use scale leggings to actually have the highest amount of crit. Now there is a pair of leggings that actually drops off the last boss as well. If you happen to get lucky while you're in there, and if you are going after the gloves as well and killing that last boss, I think they're called the Midnight leggings. They have crit and haste on them, but it is slightly less crit than these are. But if you actually roll or get a proc for a gem socket, it's possibly going to be better at that time. And that's another thing, just majority of these pieces all can get lucky and actually proc a gem socket for you. If they proc the speed, and you see sometimes you get leech procs and other things like that, I wouldn't worry about it too much because you see the kind of speeds we can get up to. But if you don't get, I wouldn't steadily farm trying to get these procs. At first I actually did spend a whole day trying to get speed procs, which I'm glad I kind of quit because I didn't realize with this vial and with the food I was actually going to it was going to be pointless because I'm already speed capped once I put those on. But the Blood Furnace is going to be the one up here, and with that, what you want to get from here is you want to get this trinket. Now there are trinkets like this one that have over 310 critical strike, and you could get another one with 310. I think there might be even a couple that maybe slightly more than that, but honestly I'd rather go with the lower amount of crit with the 291 crit because it's not going to be a big difference. But it also has on use boost of crit for 2 minutes, and it lasts for 20 seconds, so it's a pretty long time that it actually lasts. And that's where we actually were able to get with the Windwalk proc and using that trinket, we were actually able to get up to 297% speed. So with this, you want to go, and it's actually off the last boss. So unfortunately, you will need to clear to the last boss. Of course, you can't skip like I'm doing with mobs if you're carrying somebody through Chromie time, because they'll be attacking that person unless you just run through first and you actually run through in stealth maybe with the other mob. But still, I would just go ahead and clear everything. You don't need anything off of anybody else. You can loot if you want to, but you really don't need anything else. It's really not that long of a dungeon though, so it's not too bad. And I found it's usually a pretty decent drop rate on this trinket. I think I've heard from Ghost Pants that he has, this is the only part I hate. You have to wait for these stupid cages to open. But I think I heard from Ghost Pants that it actually go ahead and run the loot appraiser here, see if we get a drop here while we're doing this. Of course not. But yeah, I heard from him he actually, I think, struggled to actually get this tree. Hey, there we go. We got some blood scale boots. Take those. That's right, we haven't gotten our looter ring yet. All right, like I said, we can go ahead and just skip the rest of the bosses here. The only thing we're really aiming for right now is going to be that trinket, and it's going to be the last boss, which you guys may be very familiar with this already. I'm so just going to show everybody where you go. And as soon as you go in here, just these guys. Last boss comes up, and he will actually be the one that actually drops it. So with that, we didn't get the trinket, but that is where you get the trinket from. And then an easy way out of here, instead of like trying to port out and then come back, is you can just go over here to this little green tunnel here. And actually, it gives you a nice little speed buff going down through here. Of we're at 536% speed. It's amazing. And then you're right back out. All right, so there's that one. Next step, we've actually completed all of our BC dungeons. At this point, you're pretty much almost done here as far as gear that you need to unlock. Next up is we still haven't gone over the wrist. We've got the cloak here. We've got, and the reason why you want these pieces is because of all these sockets. That's why you want these pieces. The high mouse crit and the sockets, okay? Because we're stacking the crit here. That's the goal here because of the way the longstrider trait works. It actually gives us increased movement speed based on our highest secondary stat. And the reason why we're stacking crit instead of a different one, you can stack a different one, but with crit, we already get a bonus to crit by being feral. So that's why it's just easier to go with crit instead of your other, secondary stats. So I actually, prefer going for Hunger of the Pack. You can go for anyone that's actually at plus 310 critical strike. The only reason why I did that is because the Halls of Valor, which I'm not going to worry about going out to that one, just because you may decide that you want to go to a different one. But yeah, you once again go to Chromie, you'll speak to Chromie, and you'll change it to, if you want to go for the Hunger of the Pack, then you'll change it to Legion for your Chromie time. And just saying, if you do go after that one, the reason why I like Halls of Valor is because it is the third boss here, Finn Ryer. But with that, you can actually skip the second boss. You just have to kill the first boss, and then you can go straight to the third boss here, and it actually gives you a nice boost of speed to get back out if you don't get the drop. Let me actually switch this. Let's see, that actually does drop off of but yeah, there's the trinket. Now you do see with this trinket that it actually says increases your speed by 482 for 10 seconds when you kill a target that gives experience or honor. Well, we're not getting experience or honor, so there is no procs, so there's no extra speed, and even if it was, we're already speed capped, so it's not going to matter. And that's just flat speed. So again, it's just for the 310 crit. If you get lucky, maybe you can get a gem socket proc. Pretty sure they do still proc on trinkets as well, but really I just did it because you can skip that second boss, go straight to that one, go right back out. It's very, very quick, and you get a nice 75% increased movement speed in order to get back out of the dungeon. So that's why I like going after that one, just because the simplicity of going after it is very quick for the runs when you're unlucky and you possibly don't get the trinket. Once that's done, the next thing up is probably the easiest piece to get, and that is actually, it's easy, but it's not. Because you know, if you can, you would like to get one of these wrists with the actual gem socket there. But really, if you can get just an item level 357, this one's the Isle of Trappers bindings, just get it off the auction house. I was very lucky on one of mine. Only paid like, I think 175 gold for one, but this one I actually paid like 16,000 gold for. I felt like it was totally worth the investment, so I still went with it just because I didn't want to look forever. And really, 16,000 gold is not really much when I'm not really having other than the gems, because gems are quite costly actually with this. But once they all add up, because they're about 1,000 gold or so, a little over 1,000 gold a piece for each gem or something like that. It's pretty high. It gets up to a pretty high amount. Anyway, with that, I felt like just one piece buying it, it's worth the investment. But yeah, if you can get a gem socket on one, if not, if you can't find any, don't stress out, just get one of this 357, because the biggest part of this one is that enchant. As you see, we're getting plus 621 speed. Now, big thing is, guys, when you get your wrists here, make sure you do not equip them. You do not want to equip your wrists because on your 61, because if you do, you cannot enchant them. You'll have to actually get somebody else to come out and enchant it for you. And the reason why, guys, is because for this enchant, you have to be level 70 plus in order to do it. So that's why you want to actually, you can buy it on your 61, or you can go ahead and buy it on your 70 plus. go ahead and enchant it and then mail it over to your druid here, or just trade it between them. But you want to make sure that they enchant it before you put it on. If not, you have to try to go through trade channel, which I actually did with one of mine. When I got the deal on for 175, I was like, oh no, I wasn't even thinking, I just equipped it. But luckily enough, somebody quickly responded, and I gave them a pretty nice tip for being so quick to respond and get it enchanted for me. So yeah, I got lucky there. It wasn't a waste. But anyway, that is all of our gear. Next thing is we need to actually look at our gems. What kind of gems do we need? What are we using? Majority of it, you may actually see, it's just the plus 109 critical strike here. And that is the deadly ruby. So majority of them are going to be that, but there are 3 gems that you want to get, you know, and have those before you just stack everything with the deadly ruby. So the first one up is going to be, you want to get the daily onyx here, or actually the first one. And I mean, still you can get these in any order, it doesn't matter. But you want to get this one, the elusive blasphemite. And the reason why is because it gives you 2% movement speed per unique Algari gem color. Now, apparently, according to Ghost, some of the colors did not work. So really, we only went with these other 2, the deadly, or I guess 3, because you got the deadly ruby as well. But you got the deadly onyx here, and then we've got the deadly ember right here. Okay. Other than that, you just want to stack deadly ruby for all the rest of your sockets. And it can be quite costly. Yeah, you see it's like 1,500 in value. Some of the other ones have went down, are a lot lower, but yeah, this is going to cost you quite a bit of gold, but still fairly lower than the cost, I think, of back when we were paying for the level 70 speed druids. And I don't know what the cost of level 80 speed gear is, but I remember those were quite costly. So still maybe a lot better than the gold we've had to spend. And again, it's a great investment because you get a lot more speed, you can get a lot more dungeons ran with doing it this way. So I feel like it's definitely worth the investment. Also, again, you want to get the tiered medallion settings. Actually, I just go over this. I can just I can go ahead and pull up the auction house here and show you guys. So you want to get the tiered medallion settings right here. I don't know if it matters whether you go with the lowest quality or not. I actually went ahead because I didn't want any issues. I just went with the highest quality one before setting it. I don't know if there is a difference, but the one I probably should have did in the video. But yeah, I just went with the highest quality. I didn't want any issues for all 4 sockets. But that is how you add the 2 more sockets to each ring. Then next up is our enchants. So again, with our enchants, we want to get the Windwalk enchant for the weapon. If you went with the 316 weapon, if not, you want to go with Burning Writ, which what Burning Writ does, it actually gives you a boost to, which actually I'll pull it up real quick here. Gives you a boost in crit versus where Windwalk gives you actually 10% it gives you a boost of 865 crit for 15 seconds. And actually Windwalk I think is a lot cheaper too, but this gives you about 5% speed is what this actually kind of comes out to, whereas Windwalk gives you just a flat 10% speed increase. It's not flat speed, but it's a percentage, so it doesn't matter that your speed cap. It's going to give you 10% extra speed. So that's why Windwalk is slightly better. And then with the next enchant you want to get is the Boots of Minor Speed enchant. And again, this is why we did this at level 58, because you cannot enchant it on an item level higher than 320. But that gives you a flat, or it gives you 10% speed. So with that, next up is you want to get your enchant for your cloak here for +2 critical strike, +2% speed. And with that, you just go over to cloak, can't remember what it's called, and you just want to find your one that is going to be, is it breath here? No, not breath. Gift a critical strike here. So permanently enchant your cloak, increase critical strike by 2, movement speed by 2%. And they did actually change this one. So I originally went and only got item level 316 cloak because it used to be the same, but actually it looks like now it cannot be over 376. So you can actually get it at 61 and still apply it, which is really nice because it means we get a little bit more crit with it as well. Now the next thing up you may want to go ahead and get is your enchant here for the wrist, which is actually going to be chant of armor speed. Let's go ahead and this. Speed. Armor speed here. So you see it tells you, it gives you 1000 speed, but it actually scales down, requires level 70. So that's again why you cannot actually apply it yourself. But you can go ahead and apply it to the bracers since they're BOE, and then trade the bracers over after it's enchanted. So really nice with that. And then it will give you the 621 speed, which is more than enough, because with that and with the vial and the food buff, you hit speed cap anyway. So very nice there. Next up is you can actually get the precision enchant for your gloves. Now the reason why I went ahead and still applied it, to my druids is even though I think on one of them I didn't see any change in my speed. It only gives you +7 crit. It's not gonna make a big difference. But say you did get some extra gem sockets, or later on down the line I do go back to search for like extra procs for gem sockets or anything, it may just be that little extra boost that gives you another 0.1% speed or something. So I would still go ahead and apply it. It's very cheap here. As you see, it's only like 4 gold on the auction house. It's extra 7 crit, and it might give you an extra little boost. So it's really not gonna make a big difference if you really don't want to get it. Now with that, next up is the rings. We want to get the rings for the enchant for the 51 critical strike here. Fingers right here. I think it's just whichever one's the highest that you can actually use. So 5, I think this is the one I use. So even though it says 82 critical strike, it only gives you the 51. So it's devotion of critical strike. So yeah, that's the one you want to use right there. And of course, you want to try to get the one that's ranked up 3. I don't know. I didn't use the green one. I used the blue one, but maybe this one will actually give it to you too. You could experiment. It's only 5 gold, so it's only up to you if you want to try and waste the 5 gold and see if it can actually, still give you the 51 crit. But I always just, with like tweaks and everything, know that going with the highest amount offered, even though it scales down, is going to give you the results you really want. All right, and then with that, the next thing up is your chest enchant. You want to get this one, the accelerated agility enchant. And the reason why you want to get that one is because it gives you increase your agility by 111 and speed by 250. So there's even more speed, helping you, and this flat speed helping you reach up to that speed cap. So really you do not need speed procs when you gear, because you're going to be well over that speed cap. With that, last thing is optional as well, which honestly you should go engineering, and I haven't actually done in the past anyway, but I probably should be doing, is you can enchant your belt with the nitro boost. Only engineers can do it. Honestly, I do suggest everybody goes with engineers, just because one, you get the looter ring, which I do always go and make sure I get, and I feel like that is the most important part of any farming druid or class that you want to use, because it's just so useful. So you don't have to go out of your way to go loot mobs when they're out of the way. But that's one thing, is you can also add the nitro boost, which gives you a nice boost in speed. And I do believe that's Wrath engineering. Could be wrong on that. Last up is your far as enhancements and things like that, is you want to get the charge vial of a clarity, which, where is our vial here? Should have it. Yeah, right here. So charge vial of clarity, and you do want to, you know, get three, three rate one if you can. The lower rate ones, it's not going to make too much of a difference, but definitely using the most amount of speed gives us 744 speed, and that's what gets us up to 252. You know, right there, speed increased by 744. And then yeah, you see we're at 35%, so we're not speed capped yet. But as soon as we actually use our food, which that's next up, is going to be the fried bonefish. Which actually I don't know, do I not have any more on here? Yeah, I do, right here. Once we actually use that, we actually do speed cap. Which if you give me seconds here, I'll go kill something. I'll show you. It'll actually get us up to speed cap here. Let's see. Go right here. There's the ramparts. Something. Even find my way around here anymore. Let's just go out here. Kill something. Gotta be something, some mob around here somewhere. There are no mobs out here whatsoever. Somebody's completely cleared this zone out. Here we go. All right. So as soon as I kill that, we hit 49% and we are speed cap. So yeah, there's no point of really going for speed rolls for speed cap. All right. With that, the last thing we need to focus on is our talent tree. That's going to make a big difference. One thing when I was going over this with Ghost, like, I was saying, oh man, this is great. I'm up to like 270% speed when I'm killing mobs with my fried bonefish. And he was like asking, well, you know, what were you doing to get that speed? I just got wind walking up 281% with the wind walk. But I was like, that's with Tiger's Fury, and that's with this and that and the other, and see, I'm at 271. And it's like, well, with that, and he's like, well, you can't really count that because it doesn't give you that long. But as you see here, Tiger's Fury, yes, it's 30-second cooldown, but it lasts for 22 seconds, even though the other one only says 17, but it's 22. And with that, you know, you can have it up pretty much all the time. There's a small 8-second area there where you don't have it, but it's going to feel like it's up majority of the time. So I feel like it still counts. And even when you don't have it up, it's 265%, but still good long time that you can keep Tiger's Fury up and keep that increased speed. But the only way to do that is with your talents. Another thing is to shorten your stampede roar, get the ability to actually get the extra speed from your regrowth. You actually need to do it through your talents. So the way you do that is, and you guys can take a screenshot of this. I will also have the clipboard or have it copied down below. I will have it copied in Discord if anybody wants to use my talents. But this is the route I go. Just basically aim for, you know, getting Tiger's Fury, aim for speed with Stampede Roar and things like that. Also, you know, you may want to get this one, which is the Lunar Inspiration, which allows you to cast Moonfire in cat form. Pretty important as well. But main things you want to get is you want to get Primal Wrath. Primal Wrath is, once we have 5 combo points, we use Primal Wrath because we can use that anytime. It's a finishing move, and it will give us the proc that allows us to actually use our regrowth as instant cast, which gives us the extra speed off of this talent right here called Force Walk, which is casting regrowth, increases your movement speed and healing received by 8%, 6 seconds. Only 6 seconds, but it's a nice little boost. And if you're killing a lot of mobs, you can just, you know, constantly be stacking those combo points. Now, you may be the type of person that doesn't want to pay attention to your combo points and just say, forget that, I'm not worrying with it. But it is another 8% that you can keep rolling each time you get 5 combo points. And a lot of times you'll get 2 combo points per kill. Sometimes you don't, but a lot of times you do. So actually, after about 3 swipes, you can usually use it and get those procs. Sometimes I have actually gotten the procs too off of only 4 and 3 combo points, but really you want to try to stack 5 to ensure that you are definitely going to get it, because nothing's worse than, you know, thinking you're going to get it and then you don't get one. So next thing is you want to make sure you do get the improved Tiger Dash here, which allows you to I think reduce the cooldown of your dash. You also want to get the Feline Swiftness, increases your movement speed by 15%. But yeah, you want to get Tiger's Dash here. It replaces Dash, which is actually going to increase your movement speed by 200%, reducing gradually over 5 seconds, only a 45-second cooldown here. Now with that Stampeding Roar, you also want to go ahead and get as well, and then you want to get the improved Stampeding Roar, which reduces the cooldown by a whole minute. So that way your Stampeding Roar is only on a 1 minute cooldown. If not, it's going to be a pretty long cooldown. I think it's like 2 minutes. So yeah, that's another one you definitely want to make sure you get. Some of these other ones really don't matter. I did, in case we're actually out farming open world stuff in groups. I actually did go with the improved Sunfire, because a lot of times in group farms I want to do Sunfire. And you may say, well, why would I just say in my feral form? Well, I still feel like it's best to just run around and kill stuff like this. Here, just using Sunfire in this form. But see, I'm still over 200% speed. And actually I may want to, even in this form, tie in Tiger's Fury somehow to where I can still use it. But I mean, look, I'm 216% speed, just like this. And then if I kill something, 230.5%. And this is even outside of kitty form, which I'm actually as fast pretty much as my Druid, my level 71 Druid almost, outside of kitty form. So I can definitely go use Sunfire a lot faster just in my actual person form, or whatever you want to call it. But next up, guys, what you want to do, getting a bunch of buttons here, is you also want to go and get into your Tiger's Fury stuff. So I just went for everything. Tiger's Fury lasts 5 additional seconds, so that gives us a longer Tiger's Fury. And then from there, I also went with other stuff with Tiger's Fury. Tiger's Fury damage is increased. That really doesn't have an effect, but I did go with it. You also might want to go with Incarnation here as well. Like I said, it allows you to go into stealthy when you're in combat. It also increases your energy. So now that we're moving a lot faster too, I did find that sometimes I was running out of energy, especially when you're not like actually using your Tiger's Fury to actually boost your energy, and you're actually using it for speed. This is maybe a nice little cooldown if you're killing a lot of mobs at one time and you're running out of energy. You may want to actually use this, because you get a nice boost of energy regen here. So that's also nice with that as well. But basically, you do want to aim for anything that helps Tiger's Fury, because that's how you get that increased time, and you get I think it lasts a little bit longer as well. But definitely a lot better with going for the Tiger's Fury because of that buff. The regrowth here, you also might want Soothe. This is quite often used in Direwall North. And like I said, Dash. Like I said, the big focus is just going after speed. Those are the main callouts I can really think of with this. You may not really need anything else. But yeah, Primal Wrath stuff based on Tiger's Fury. Really don't need the damage because everything is higher level, but you can go for it. But really, I just aim to get to the Forest Walk, aim to get the improved Stampede and Roar, pick up things like Soothe, the improved Sunfire, the dash stuff, and also going after anything with Tiger's Fury and Lunar Inspiration. I feel like those are the most important things right there. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up. Again, take a screenshot if you need to for this. This is what, the towns I go off of, and this is what has allowed me to get to that speed, and allowed me to use it this way. Real quick, actually, guys, before show you some of these macros, and actually it looked like the macro really wasn't working the way I intended it, so maybe it doesn't work. It looked like I still need to use or use my regrowth here, but some of the macros I used was I added cast swipe and cast Tiger's Fury, so that way each time I use my swipe, it's automatically using my Tiger's Fury. I don't actually have to worry about pressing the button, so I can actually put something else there if I want to, which I think is very, very nice, especially since I can get it for so long. and then I don't even have to worry about pushing as many buttons. You see, I also have /use all these things because it opens like boxes and things for me when I'm farming. And then the next thing I actually did was this one, which actually didn't work, but you could actually still use it for at least a trinket. But I have, when I do Primal Wrath, it'll actually use my trinket for me, so I can actually take my trinket off the bar if I want to as well. So that's another pretty nice one. But I did also add in cast regrowth. Maybe I can switch these two, maybe it'll work, but it seemed like I still needed to cast my regrowth. Of course it didn't work that time because I didn't have 5 stacks. But yeah, see here, it still highlights let me know that I need to still cast my regrowth. But yeah, guys, that's some macros you can try to use. You can try to play around with that, try to just make it easier so you have less buttons to actually use. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. This is our new level 61 speed druids. Definitely a lot faster than the other levels, and really it's not too bad unless you're trying to actually you know, get it down to where you get all the extra gem procs. I feel like it's really not worth the time to try to aim for that. If you did actually do that, you could possibly even get it a lot faster because you could get extra gem sockets, but trust me, you're gonna be there forever trying to get them. So just hurry up and try to get your pieces. The thing is, it probably took me a good day to well, I have limited time, so a day for me is like maybe a couple hours or so, but it probably took me at least a day to get all the low level pieces at level 58, and then took me another day to get all of the BFA pieces. Again, I was doing this on 2 druids anyway, and then it also took me like another day or 2 to get all of the BC pieces. But yeah, guys, definitely worth it. As you can see, we can still be faster just with our vial, and not even with our food, and maybe times where you just decide not to even use food because you're still faster. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, smash the big thumbs up. Lets me know that you like it. Got us back over 250% speed, and when we're actually killing stuff, we can be over 270% speed, and sometimes much faster. And also, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss videos like this one, and like our clean outs and our loot videos that are going to be coming up for part 2 of the 200 run series. Anyway, guys, again, I will have links down below for the guide here, which actually I can probably show you guys a version of the guide. This is what we went over. It gives you a step-by-step list of what you actually need to do in order to get these pieces, in case you don't want to keep going back and watching through the video, which I appreciate the views if you guys want to do that. But if you don't want to do that, you do have the sheet here which you can actually, you know, access from Discord or down below, so that you can actually just follow along through this and remember that way. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me in this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.